nothing makes sense anymore. I mean, I'm a college graduate. I have a degree in everything. Why can't I make sense of this? Am I stupid? Am I incapable of understanding the brilliance of Star Wars? What does life even mean anymore? How will I make sense of anything?
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
As clumsy as he is stupid.
Jeopardy! Any questions?
After Darth Vader stabbed Reva with his lightsaber because she ended up betraying him, why did he leave her alive, just like he did when she was a kid? Wouldn't he have wanted to kill her? Maybe he wanted her to suffer before she died? If that was the case, then he would definitely strand her on that deserted planet by taking all of his troops and his ships and leaving her there to deal with a mortal wound and die a slow, painful death. So if that's the case, how did Reva survive getting stabbed by a lightsaber and then somehow make it all the way to Tatooine? Did she find another ship? How far away is Tatooine from that desolate planet she was stranded on? How is she able to still be alive? I guess if maybe she got stabbed in the exact same place Darth Vader stabbed her when she was a kid, maybe she doesn't have any vital organs there already, so she was able to just walk it off. But then again, she wasn't even able to walk after she got stabbed, so how was she able to not only make it to Tatooine, but not die in the process?
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
Does Reva have teleportation capabilities? Was she force projecting herself all the way over on Tatooine? She couldn't have been force projecting because she was actually interacting with people, right? So she had to actually have physically been there. But if that's the case, how did she get there? Was there a time leap? Does her story take place weeks later? Well, if it did take place weeks later, then why is Darth Vader currently chasing the transport that just took off? And how is Obi-Wan Kenobi just then getting there at the end of the episode after having fought Darth Vader? Because if that's the case, then Reva's story on Tatooine has to be taking place at the exact same time as Obi-Wan's story with Darth Vader, unless the show is using some type of Quentin Tarantino-ish non-linear form of storytelling. But if that's the case, why is everything being told in a linear fashion within the episode?
Don't ask questions. Just consume product
and then get excited for next product.
Is a hot dog really a sandwich? Do the writers just not want the audience to think about how Reva somehow magically teleported from that planet that she was stranded on and left for dead all the way to Tatooine? Why would Reva even want to go to Tatooine at that point? I mean, she could go there at any time, couldn't she? So, if I remember correctly, when Reva found the communicator that Obi-Wan had left behind, it had a message from Bail Organa on it, but it was all garbled, so she couldn't get the full message. So how did she know that that was meant for Obi-Wan? How does she know that Bail Organa was the one sending that message? If I recall correctly, the only words that she was able to hear were, "He's found you, he's learned of the children, I'll head to Tatooine, Owen, help the boy."
He's found you. If he's learned of the children, I'll head to Tatooine. Owen, help the boy.
So based off of that, she remembers her random chance encounter with a moisture farmer named Owen on Tatooine and instantly assumes that that message that she found in the Jedi Underground Railroad bunker meant that that was the exact same Owen on the entire planet of Tatooine that was being talked about.
Don't ask questions.
Just consume product.
I mean, what are the chances of her running into the exact same person that was being mentioned in that message and her making that connection that that was the guy that she had to track down? How many unanswerable questions are there? Nowhere in that message was it mentioned that Darth Vader had any connection with whatever child was on Tatooine, let alone children. So why does Reva think that going to Tatooine to find the child of the moisture farmer that she randomly encountered is going to have any bearing on Darth Vader at all? Why does she think that killing this random kid is going to bring her justice?
Don't ask questions.
I mean, does Vader somehow know he's got children out there? And she somehow sense this? But if that's the case, why doesn't Vader know about these kids in the original trilogy? And where's Bail Organa? Didn't he say that he was going to Tatooine in order to help protect Luke? And yet, he never shows up. So what was the point of his message if he never actually went to Tatooine to help protect Luke while Obi-Wan was away trying to save his daughter? And speaking of protecting Luke, why does Beru refuse to leave her home and defend it against a known Jedi Inquisitor who ran through the nearby town, cutting off people's hands and threatening to murder people? Wouldn't she want to protect her surrogate son? Couldn't she have sent them off to a neighbor's, or couldn't she have gone off with Luke while Owen stayed behind and protected their home? Why would Beru intentionally put her entire family in jeopardy out of pride?
Don't ask questions.
Because she's a strong female character? She didn't even do anything during the fight. She kind of disappeared halfway through and left Owen to fend for himself. Is it the Kylo Ren rule that an injured Jedi is unable to defeat normal people simply because they're injured? And you would think Owen, having seen how Reva operated in town, would know that it's a big enough threat to convince Beru that they needed to abandon their home, at least temporarily, in order to protect their son. And after Luke runs away, you would think that Owen and Beru would be a little bit more panicked about what happened to him because, they have a murderous Inquisitor after their kid, but they just seem to be in the desert calling out for his name. It's like they're looking for a lost dog. Is it weird that both Obi-Wan and Owen and Beru failed in their mission to protect Luke, and it was only through dumb luck and circumstance that Reva decided not to murder him, even though she could have very easily done it?
The greatest teacher failure is.
Shut the fuck up!
Reva never had any problems torturing and killing children before, so why is it different with Luke, whom she doesn't know at all? Is it just because she's narcissistic and she thinks about herself and projects herself onto Luke? So in a way she's sparing herself as opposed to a completely innocent child that has nothing to do with anything? How does Reva know that Luke is connected to Darth Vader? Is this from the J.J. Abrams school of screenwriting, where because the audience knows something, the characters automatically do as well? What's the sound of one chicken? If a tree falls in the woods, does God hear it? Do I exist? Does anything exist? Please make it make sense. And what happened to Reva? After she brings Luke back to the Lars estate and she collapses in front of Obi-Wan, she found redemption, right? But that's the last we see of her. What did she do afterwards? Did Obi-Wan help her somewhere? Did she reconnect with the path and she's now helping the people that she swore to bring down? Is she still pursuing her revenge against Vader in some way, shape, or form? Is she going to join the rebellion? Why did we never get a resolution to her story? She just kind of collapses in the desert and cries. Did she ever get that wound looked at? Does she have like a robotic kidney or something now? Are her and Obi-Wan now BFFs? When Vader was pursuing the path transport, why didn't he order the Inquisitor to take his ship and follow them while he took the Star Destroyer to follow Obi-Wan? How many other ships are on the Star Destroyer? I mean, couldn't Vader have unleashed a squadron of TIE fighters to follow the path ship, or at least disable their engines? Did Obi-Wan know that there was another barren planet nearby where he could lure Vader to for a face-off? What is it with Jedi and rocks? How is it that a brief battle on the Jedi Underground Railroad planet allowed Obi-Wan to become a newly overpowered Force user? Wasn't it literally like a day or two ago that he couldn't even use the Force to lift a rock? And now he's throwing entire mountains at Darth Vader? How can Vader stop lightsaber strikes, but he can't stop rocks from hitting him? Rocks, my only weakness. When Obi-Wan's being buried by the avalanche of rocks that Vader's throwing at him, why is it that he sees visions of Leia and that gives him the internal strength to continue forward and defeat Darth Vader, instead of Qui-Gon Jinn's ghost appearing at that moment and giving Obi-Wan the advice and inspiration he needs to re-embrace his Jedi side? Wouldn't that have made more sense than Qui-Gon showing up randomly at the end of the show and saying, "Oh, you're finally ready to see me. Took you long enough"? I mean, you would think that that would be the appropriate moment to reveal Qui-Gon, or at least have Obi-Wan make contact with Qui-Gon, which is in his moment of greatest need. But it seems that the image of a underage little girl was enough to give Obi-Wan the vigor he needed to fight back against the Dark Lord.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
So in the original trilogy, Obi-Wan and Yoda were training Luke in order to defeat Darth Vader because they both believed that Vader was too far gone to be redeemed. And so Luke was their only chance of not only getting close enough to Vader, but also destroying him once and for all, and thus freeing the galaxy of his tyranny. And yet, in this episode, Obi-Wan handily defeats Darth Vader, grievously wounds him, destroys his rebreather so the guy can barely breathe. Vader's on the ropes, he's on his last legs, and then Obi-Wan just lets him live? Wouldn't Obi-Wan finishing the job that he started 10 years earlier on Mustafar have saved the galaxy from untold decades of darkness and tyranny? Why didn't Obi-Wan finish him? Is there some unwritten Jedi/Sith code that says that you have to leave people to die as opposed to outright killing them? Because it seems to me like the Jedi and Sith kill a lot of people pretty easily, but when it comes to other Force users, they're just like, okay, well, I think I've done enough, I'll see you later. Why doesn't this make sense? When Vader's back on Mustafar, he knows that Princess Leia was enough to draw Obi-Wan out. So instead of using this plan to scour the galaxy, why doesn't he just kidnap Leia again and try to get Obi-Wan to come to him once more?
Don't ask questions.
In fact, why doesn't he do that at any point over the next 10 years? And if Princess Leia has some type of connection to Obi-Wan, how is it that she doesn't mourn his passing at the same time Luke does in Episode 4? Why does Leia care more about seeing her droid than she does about seeing Obi-Wan, who risked his life numerous times in order to save her? I mean, that's almost as bad as hugging a complete stranger after the love of your life died instead of hugging his best friend who's right there. Oh wait, that happened, didn't it? God, Leia was always an asshole, wasn't she? Wouldn't the Emperor and Darth Vader be suspicious that Bail Organa had some type of ties to Obi-Wan after Obi-Wan came out of hiding in order to rescue Bail Organa's daughter? Wouldn't Luke have some questions about why their home wasn't raided by Tusken Raiders, but some random woman in a black coat with a red lightsaber? Where was Darth Vader's Star Destroyer when Obi-Wan Kenobi got in his little ship and escaped from the planet after fighting Darth Vader? Wouldn't they be on the lookout for him? Wouldn't the Inquisitors who were still on Darth Vader's Star Destroyer notice Obi-Wan escaping and at least go off in their own shuttle to pursue him? What would have happened if Reva had actually killed Luke and Obi-Wan shows up at the Lars estate just in time to realize that he completely failed his mission? Would that have sent him back down into depression and cutting himself off from the Force? Or would all the attention been shifted to Leia? Yeah, it probably would have been shifted to Leia. Why bring back Haja Estri if he's just going to not do anything the entire episode? Wouldn't the fact that a dark side user almost killed Luke inspire Obi-Wan to take him away from Owen and train him? Like, wouldn't Owen and Beru want Luke to know how to defend himself in case something like this ever happened again? Is Tatooine, like, really close to a bunch of other planets and we just don't know it? Who wrote this episode? Did anyone bother to review this script before it went into production to make sure that it doesn't contradict anything that came in the original trilogy? Did the people who wrote this show even bother to watch any other Star Wars before writing it? Why is Kathleen Kennedy still in charge of Lucasfilm? Is it possible for Star Wars to ever be good again? Am I now a Star Trek fan?
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
Well, that was Obi-Wan Kenobi. 6 episodes of nonsense. If you like it, that's great. But despite all the bad we got, there is one bright shining star that came from this series.
So that's it. Fortress Inquisitorius.
I got you, Sully. Just go.
Leave her, come on.
All right, I'm on my way. Right behind you.
Wait! 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 You know that you're my hero. You are the wind beneath my wings.
Wait, why?
No one's ever really gone.
Love you, Wade.